have been better for those who are sending money from here to Nigeria, because your money, your pound now is giving you 500 naira rather than the other way around. But for those who are exporters, people who do business over here that relies on bringing money and taking resources from Nigeria to settle what they have in here, then it is indeed very, very painful from that direction. Barrister, you had some of the opinions of different people, from women to young people. But one thing that somebody did mention is, should we allow or should we create an atmosphere of supporting those who have never really been in government to aspire?
My position or my contribution to that is that you get the kind of government by the kind of people you put in office. So to that extent, the electorates have a duty to search very properly those they want
Godfather?
to rule them.
Godfather?
The issue of Godfather should be exterminated. We don't want to hear it. I mean,
Is it possible?
We will get there.
Okay.
The people
so we will get there.
We will get there. We're not there yet. We will get there. Now, I've heard the opinions of, I think because they are in the diaspora, they do not understand the magnitude of the problem. You inherit a government where, because of blackmail of your previous situation, you do not want to be seen as a military man. You do not want to be seen as a dictator. You do not want to be seen as a man who can take action without going through the legitimate route. However, slow and steady, we have recovered these monies we have recovered. How much was in the purse when the man came in is yet to be told to us. And I think it holds himself a responsibility to publish them. You see, this whole situation shredded in secrecy will not work for Nigeria, because before you do anything, everybody must know. So it's about time we tell the people the actual situation. Now, people talked about electricity. Why is it Buhari's fault to do electricity? The people who bought electricity or bought the company should be held to account and be made to give people what they promised they would give people, or take the asset back. That's one. Number two, who did they advertise those assets to? They gave it to cronies. They called people into their various and gave it to them. Number three, you talked about petrol. The issue of petrol 1.5 months ago is no longer the case. By this deregulation, petrol station people, for the first time since I became an adult, are standing by asking people to come and buy petrol in Nigeria because of this deregulation. Now, what has happened? When this government came to office, people thought it makes a whole lot of meaning in this same cartel of the past to hold the government to ransom, to hoard those petrols. There were petrol stations in the ground. You see, people are not being honest to assess the situation. And they are not most probably there. They don't have employees or people to understand what is going on. The question you must ask yourself, from the day that deregulation was announced, all the petrol stations have petrol to sell. Where were these petrol? Were they newly imported? How did it happen that we now have petrol and the queues suddenly disappeared? So what I'm saying to you is, people are bent on blackmailing the government. People are bent on holding the government to ransom to make sure that they do not see anything good in what they have done. I am talking as a Nigerian. If you recall, just before the election of Jonathan was my boss. Just before that election, I had made a public statement to the world that Jonathan cannot come back as a president unless there's a miracle of God. I said so. I was a PDP member. I made my statement. You see, unless we leave that issue of sentiments that have destroyed the nation. I mean, if your father is corrupt, your father is wrong, your mother is not good, say it out. Make sure we find an antidote to correct the situation. But this whole sentiment and pretense of, wearing the toga of a saint and a pastor, and yet you're doing worse, crime and, than even a non-devil makes no sense to me.
Let me find out if Mr. Tunji I agree with you. Tunji, you're welcome to the program. Hi, Tunji.
Hello.
You're welcome to the program.
Oh, thank you, my brother. First of all, I want to commend you for all your efforts.
Thank you.
I want to say hello to barristers.
Thank you.
About the issue in Nigeria, I live in London. I've been in this country for about 28 years. Now, those of us who have been here for so long, we don't want to stay here. We want to go to Nigeria and contribute to Nigeria. Now, apart from the problem in Niger Delta, Nigeria is full of different type of problems. We're just talking about Niger Delta. You don't want to know what is going on in Oyo State. I have a farm in Oyo State. In the place is called Ilegbon, going towards Iwo. I've planted a palm tree, and the governor of Oyo State just went to that area and is taking over the land.
What for?
He went there, all the barlets, all the obas and all that, they gave him 100 acres.
And Tunji, you have your CFO?
Well, I bought the land. Even the problem I've been going through regarding all this, the obas and the barley, I've been spending money and money. In fact, that was my second one in that area. I bought the first one, they took it from me, now they gave me another one, and I've planted this palm tree there. The palm tree is about 3.5 years old already.
So which means you have Tunji, which means you have already been...
governor said he need land in that area.
For what?
Nobody knows.
No, Tunji, come on.
And they've given him 100 acres already, and that is not enough. But now, I have people working in the farm that I have to pay their salary every month. I have temporary workers that they come there maybe every 3 months to come and work. I have to pay them. And I've been doing this for 4 years. Now, the way things are, it seems they're going to take that place from us. Now, they say we should all go to agriculture. Now, those of us who have got the land, who have got the farm, trying to at least do something back home. Now, I'm just trying to tell you the situation in Nigeria. Now, you see the people who are saying that Buhari hasn't done anything, Buhari hasn't done this. The problem we have in Nigeria, I doubt it. Even if Buhari does 3 terms, I don't think he can finish the work in Nigeria.
Tunji,
and the people coming to say that he hasn't done anything, those are enemy of progress. Nigeria has gone bad to the extent that we have to be patient with him. Look at what Barrister said. How many former ministers in Nigeria can come on the TV and say that they are ready to put their name forward for the government to check their accounts? How many former ministers in Nigeria can say that? How many? So Nigeria has gone so bad. I go to Nigeria 3 times a year, but now for the past 1 year, I cannot go anywhere because I'm even thinking of selling everything I have in Nigeria and just stay where I am.
Okay, Tunji, thank you very much. Let me get the barrister. He highlighted 2 things. As Nigerian government is talking people should go into agriculture, he lives in the diaspora, has set up, paying people, employing people all the way from here, though they might be generating something, and suddenly now the government has decided to go and take off the land, to give it to somebody, and assuming that's the first time for him, then you can understand. But to him, that is the second time this is happening to him. You have been, and as a businessman, we know how big your business is for those who lives in Delta. How do you think his situation would be? And for many other Nigerians, not only going into agriculture, but trying to set up business in Nigeria.
Tunji, let me first and foremost thank you for generating, even if it was 1 employment, talk less of the number of people you are putting to work to be able to feed their family. You know, if you employ 1 person, you're talking about the ripple effect of almost 25 or what have you. First, I will not know. The situation you have painted creates a bit of, I don't understand it. If you got that land, you have a receipt for that land from the families you have bought that land from. And if you took steps to make it even further, that you have a C of O, then that governor cannot take that land. And in any case, the only condition where that governor can make approach to take that land with paying you compensation would be that he's trying to use that land for a public interest, a public use, not a personal, not being allocated to another crony or what have you. So the situation looks a bit funny, but
that's not definitely new. You know Nigeria.
Yeah, I mean, if you see, this whole thing is about clean hands, Tunji. I don't see any government. I mean, I'm well established in Lagos. I'm well established in Abuja. I'm well established in Delta, to say the least, other than, whatever I do outside the countries. I don't see any government legitimately coming to take my land that are quite enormous nationwide. Because I took steps to document, not knowing what is going to happen. And in fact, I don't give, I don't take. So I believe very definitely that if you have a clean documentation process for your property, the government and the people cannot take the land. And don't forget, because of the Land Use Act, the land is now vested not on anybody, so nobody can come and take your land. So to that extent, I would say that something is amiss. Put your leg on the ground. I do not agree with you, Tunji, that you should sell your property and leave your mother's land. If you do not do the battle today to make sure that that does not happen, then you are in trouble. I was in Dubai last Friday. I went to buy or repair a phone. This guy wanted to rip me off. I was with another colleague of mine and friends, and they said, oh, let us go. This trouble is too much. I said, no, I will follow this man. And I followed this man legitimately. This man was calling police and everything. I followed him to the police station, and by the end of it, the police arrested and locked him up. So what I'm saying to you is that we cannot look at a situation like this and gloss through it. Leave it for who? You're leaving it for your children and your grandchildren. If you cannot fight the battle, nobody will fight it. If you have time, come back. Brief, competent people in Oyo. I know who now, a number of good lawyers in Oyo State. Nobody, Olani Kweku and Co, nobody will just sit down and allow your property to be sequestered by criminals.
And that's another expenses. Let me quickly take Francis, because if he's already been minimized in his land. Francis, you're welcome to the program.
Hello.
Hi, Francis. Welcome.
Doctor. How are you, sir?
Very well. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Manchester.
Manchester, you're welcome to the program.
Thanks very much. Again, I will need to support the last caller in order to say a big thank you to Barrister. This is one of us. And Barrister, look at our doctor's eyes. This is one of the patrons that we have in the diaspora. It's one of the Nigerians that we need to send back home to be part of the politics that will be played in a very genuine way in Nigeria. If we have the two of you on board in Nigeria, Nigeria will change. I've listened to the clip, and I'm very, very optimistic that those people that they interviewed, you could see that majority of them are from the Niger Delta. They don't speak good about the president. They don't speak good about the people in government are present. This is the way I'm talking about the biased mind that the people are having, because they are being sentiment about saying that because it's a northerner that is ruling Nigeria today. That is not what we want. We want to come together as a Nigerian and move this country forward. A seed is a seed. Like you said it, Barrister, a seed is a seed. How about those people that the masses leave in our public market for stealing a tuber of yam? They are all the same. They are all thieves. Secondly, lastly, before I will drop the phone, please, Barrister, I want you to support that last caller. You are once a minister. If it is true that Oyo State governor now look at his plantation and he believes that is the area that he wanted, plantation doesn't suddenly grow in that area. somebody labor for it. And this is the way they slap our face all over and over again because we live in the diaspora. And we have a limited time to spend in Nigeria. They always bully us, on us every time, including myself. I send many cars to Nigeria. The person that is helping me to sell sold all my cars and cannot even remit any money to me because the government in power will never give justice to the situation. Why are they doing this to us? Please, Barrister, I will let go mine, but support that gentleman that has labored for his plantation for over 3.5 years. And the governor of Oyo State, anytime that I'm in Nigeria, I will go to his office and I will say it to his face.
Thank you very much,
Francis. Many thanks. I align myself. Incidentally, while I'm not holding a brief, as a lawyer, you know there's a limit I can do. But if I have the particulars, I'll leave my number with Alistair here. If I have the particulars of that specific situation with that land, I will interface, I will find out from the governor. And you see, first, the story is not right. Another thing you hear, you go to a meeting and somebody tells you, oh, my mother is being killed, my father is being killed, this is happening to me. And when you go to the specific situation, what you find most times are not the same as you have heard it. But it's an interesting case, it's an interesting situation to me. I am very, very interested. Having said so, sir, one of the persons from the diaspora talked about money that is now 400. I like to look at that situation very closely. Alistair, given your age and with all the investment you've done in Europe, how much have you taken from Nigeria? I think the central bank needs to wake up because 90% of the money that is living in Nigeria as our internal generated or our reserve in dollars or foreign exchange. Old as I am, with what I have not taken from Nigeria dollars before that is worth anything. The central bank can testify. Now, what I'm saying is that foreigners, Lebanese, Pakistani, Indians, and all of those are very proficient in frisking this money. My mother does not eat more than starch, yam, and plantain. Those are not bought in dollars. They are not bought in foreign exchange. And my mother does not tie any foreign cloth that is not made by tailor or small seamstress in Nigeria. So these monies are actually being stolen. So what the federal government must do immediately by tasking the central bank governor is not one thing to give somebody a job and the person does not do the job and there's so much CPGs and at the end of the day you say the country is broke. Let the governor document for Nigerians those who are taking dollars away from the country for what purpose and what is the corresponding return by way of equipment, by way of food, by way of production equipment, by way of raw materials for production. What and how have they brought it back? There are people who are charged with that responsibility.
Let me find out if it is so. But before then, let me take on Eric. Eric, you're welcome to the program. Where are you calling from? Hello, Eric.
Good evening.
Good evening. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Italy.
Okay, welcome to the program, Eric.
Good evening.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, thank you very much for this very program, and I want to appreciate the barrister as well.
Thank you.
The way I've spoken about the people criticizing the government and the situation we have there in Nigeria, if we must get to know about the true part of it, how so people call the first-class people, the politicians. Some of them wish it's a bunch of criminals we have there. And this is sort of bunch of criminals, they wouldn't like things to be put down adequately according to the law demand. Okay, let's take a look at this situation about this Buhari government, people saying it's not doing anything, and pastors coming out to the public saying this government is helpless. And the same government, the same set of pastor that we're praying for the previous government that they are doing well. When crime, corruption, everything, kidnapping, all over everywhere, people benefiting from that situation. And the same set of pastors, they say the country is moving on well. And the same set of pastors pray and they say that God said, people causing Nigeria, that the one cause is of us. And the same pastor has come now to tell us as a Nigeria that the government is not doing well. In all the sets of money we recover access that we have been made known in the public to be aware through media, through social media and all that. You see, all those group of people, they are not doing us well until the government be able to put things, the machinery on the ground perfectly okay, or be able to penalize whoever that against the city, rather against the law, like the pastors and the politicians. These are the group of people that is unquestionable in the society.
Okay.
And number two, so regardless of the law we're talking about, this same thing has been emanated in all Nigeria, all over the nation. You go to Edo State, the same thing does happen. You imagine you buy land triple price, and the chiefs there are not doing anything to assist the government. And the chiefs, the people that are supposed to have assisted the government to fight this crime, they have the same set of people using this thuggery for their own self-security. And they now make countries to be here and there, they now make countries to be proud of doing some certain things without the law taking place. At the time the police will now arrest them, the same group of people will now say, these are my boss. They made the police not to be doing anything.
Okay. Thank you very much, Eric.
Please, we want to say this now. Every average Nigerian should know the situation on the ground. A lot of things have gone wrong.
Thank you. Every decent, every average Nigerian should know things on the ground. He seems to be in the same book with the former caller as well, who talked about land grabbing. But the leaders need to be accountable somewhere. But presently, the Nigerian leaders, though this is the new team and new government, maybe they can start being accountable. But the bosses are not the leaders because we're in an electoral system. We're in a democratic system. It should have been the electorate who elected them to be there.
Now, thank you very much for, bringing life to what the last speaker said. Unless we have a culture of accountability, we'll have a lot of problems. As we speak today, nobody knows the owners of major banks in Nigeria.
Banks.
The banks. Nobody knows the true owners.
So you have the Elumelus, the OVA.
We have, look, I say nobody know the true owners of the banks.
Right.
Nobody know the true owners of major businesses in Nigeria. They are fictitious names, they are pseudonyms, they are front names, and what have you. That is why you see all of this gang up against this president. This president, in my opinion, is a Nigerian, whether you like it or not.
Sure.
You know all the, true ups and everything he went to the extent that he was this and that. But today is the president. We must all face the truth. It's either we want to be, because not all of us can swim and eat in that boat of criminality. So we want to decide whether or not as Nigerians, those who are praying as pastors, we've seen what pastors have done, we see what religion have done, either Muslim or Christian religion, but we are now saying that give this man prayer. I believe strongly that this man is going to lead us somewhere. I believe strongly that we are going to start seeing this impunity curtailed. That is why they are all crying, because they don't know when it's getting to them. They've all gone to apologize and pleaded with him, for respite and all of those. But the man is not a man you can bribe. The man is not a man you want to give food. The man is not a man that will take anything from you. So to that extent, they are very worried. Business as usual is a thing of the past. So you see all of these true ups, all of this, like I said to him, if it's not careful, social media will be used to, but Thank God he's not a man who is carried away by what he hears. So to that extent, you are going to hear a lot of more cry. You are going to hear a lot of more deceit. But let us confront the man frontally. If you know Buhari is doing anything that is wrong today, confront him frontally. Accuse him frontally. But to say that he should not apprehend these criminals, I disagree with you. To say that he has not done well from collecting this loot, don't forget, those who are pretending that their loot have been collected and they are pleading that the man should not publish their name. 3 months ago, I told the country, I told the world that Buhari will publish the names and the looters. We have seen a whole lot of looters' financial. The names are there. Everybody who returned 1 naira, his names are there. He's going to publish it, I'm telling you. It's going to be published. And once that happens, it is a progress in the political landscape of Nigeria. What I want to do is to see how we bring the same situation very quickly to the states. Like I said, if you clean the federal government, you don't clean the state, you have a problem. Move to the local government, because the governors have misappropriated the local government. The governors are now feeding fat, and the situation is continuing. So if those ones who have ruled, who have skeleton in their boxes, and they have benefited from taxpayers' money, are not brought to book, the ones that are coming will not learn any lesson. So Buhari is the necessary pill that we require today in our life. I believe if the Director General of the SSS knows what he's doing, which I think he does, the police, the EFCC, the what do you call it? The military
ICPC.
intelligence, the ICPC and all of those, if they put their search situation together to fight corruption as Buhari has declared, give us another 1 year. You see people rejecting money. You'll have a situation in your hand where people are no longer jostling. Nobody wants to be a minister anymore. Before, you have Christmen and irresponsible people in society coming to say, I want to be a minister. Today it's not the case. I don't want to call name, but you remember there was a particular person who wanted to be a minister, and he brought his CV from a very powerful Nigerian, and he gave the CV to the president. The president said, okay, go and vet him to become secretary to government. By the time they did the vetting, after about 20 minutes of vetting, the man was in prison. So people are no longer interested. It's not business as usual. You don't go and pay Buhari, $500,000 or $2 million and say, make me a minister. It won't happen. If anybody has such a record, let him publish it. And if you want to contrast that with what we have and what we know, haven't been a minister and haven't been in the political landscape for this period of time, we will say a bit more. But we are saying people should not come to drag the government down to cause, so-called, skirmishes of, disheartening, and disheartening is an Hausa man. Osinbajo is a great guy. I have a lot of respect for Osinbajo, the vice president right now. A lot of respect for him. I mean, a pastor, a man who believes. You cannot say Osinbajo is going to be in a cocoon and cover up what is going on. And in any case, what can you cover up today in this public world? It's not possible. So to that extent, let people believe in the system. Let people insist to get what they need to get. Let people insist on their right. Who is a governor? Who is a president? I mean, for you to take a responsibility to get paid by taxpayers, you are the servant of the people. So you have a duty to be skinned, you have a duty to be searched, you have a duty to be published for your iniquities. And if what I want to do in Delta is what everybody wants to do in their various states, we will get there very quickly. You don't go and loot treasury funds, taxpayers' money, and you say you are a big man. You start building big houses, you start driving big cars, and you start going to give your children marriages, and things like that, and use tax. It's not going to work. That situation is fast changing. So I'm saying Nigerians should pray for this man, insist that he does things right, demand for what is right, and watch him perform or not.
Okay, watch him perform right now. Before I pick Olu's call, there's a comment you talk about people, they should be searched to know who is buying the dollar and the foreign currency,
Yes.
and then examine what they brought back for that amount of money they've taken out.
Yes.
Let's look into the oil industry. If you remember, which is kind of still on in Nigeria, the marketers presume to have brought in 100 trailers of crude oil or the refined product and end up going to the government and collecting money, which then did not quantify the amount of what they are taking out. Now, before that, before you make the comment or your views on that, because it will be very hard to actually know what went out and what comes back in. You have the black market. Olu, you're welcome to the program. Where are you calling from?
Hi, good evening. I'm calling from London.
Hi, Olu. I'm trying to hear you.
Yeah, good evening. I'm calling from London.
From London, okay? Yeah,
London.
your comment, sir.
Great show, and I love. I love most of the things that the barrister said. But when I came in, I think I had a caller that has a farmland in Nigeria, and the farmland was
in Oyo State
was about to be taken away from him, and the barrister said something about in most cases by the time you dig deeply you found out that something is not right. But I thank him for using the word most. It's not saying that in whole cases.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, that says that if it's not in all cases, then there are cases where we have government or some wealthy Nigerians taking land from either Nigerians at home or Nigerians in diaspora, and this is not good. He said something about whether we like it or not.
Are you able to speak a bit louder, Olu, at your end?
Can you hear me now?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. The barrister said something earlier about whether we like it or not. The president we have now is. Hello?
Yeah, go on.
The president we have right now is a Nigerian, and that's a fact that cannot be taken from anyone. And it's important that we support him, but it's also important that every Nigerian sees himself as a Nigerian.
Mm-hmm.
In a situation where you have properties or you have some assets in Nigeria, whether you're at home or abroad, and all of a sudden you can use this, say for instance landed property, and you see some big men or some powerful Nigerians coming over to take things from you. That's not good. How could that person feel see himself as a Nigerian? When the man was talking, the farm owner was talking, that was something that I connected with so much. I just came back from Nigeria. I spent about nothing less than 2 months in Nigeria.
Okay.
And seriously speaking, what I saw where I stayed and what I heard, even where I did not stay, the situation in Nigeria is not very good.
Right. Where did you stay?
Buhari is doing a lot. The state governments need to do more. The local governments need to do more.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, let me give you an instance. Yeah.
Okay.
I went to a market somewhere in Mowe. I went to a market. There is no sign to say that I couldn't park. I should not park where I parked. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The sign was about half a mile away. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And there is no time restriction. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't even know that I didn't have to park there. I parked there. I went to a shop, to spend money there to improve the local economy. While I was there, somebody ran to me to hint me that, there were some guys by my car removing my plate number. And by the time I got there, I had to leave, that shop without buying anything.
Mm.
And me and these guys, we began, negotiating. You understand? And the first question I asked them was, what's going on here? And the guys were like, you can't park here.
Mm.
And as a result, you have to follow us to the office or we remove these. And these were 3 guys. It's only a fool that, will allow 3 guys, to be in his car to take him to an unknown destination. So I decided, to take them on there. And I was like, where is the sign to say that, I shouldn't park here? Where is the time restriction?
Mm.
There wasn't anything. The guy pointed to about, half a mile away. And I said, this is madness. Okay?
Okay.
I don't understand the sense behind it. You understand?
Let me try to come
we
back.
were like there for almost half an hour. And in the end, I had to give them about 500 naira. I was so hungry. I was so pissed off. There's nothing to say, you shouldn't park around this time. There is no time restriction and there is no boundary. And these guys, about a week later, I found out that, these guys were, roaming all around Mowe or Fada Road. You understand? And they can just, jump on you at any time.
Let me come back to
if the government, was,
your last
really
line,
serious
so that I can give
about
Barry
this.
Okay. Olu, sorry. Let me come back to you, Barry. You heard what Olu said, yeah?
Let me take Olu before
sign.
Olu, sorry about what happened to you in Mowe area. Again, that is not a Buhari problem.
No.
That is not even the state government's problem. Sorry. That is the problem of the local government, Olu. And in any case, these are touts. These are touts that had made life miserable by their refusal to go to school.
Yeah.
By their refusal to engage themselves in any constructive trade or something to get them a proper livelihood, and as a result, they have now come to become a problem to the society.
No. Are you sure they are tout or they are actually employed by government? Because you have the government workers as well.
If they are employed by government,
yes,
they will be on uniform. A lot of them, you will agree with me, that
Honorable, I want to hold you there. Even there are situations in Nigeria that the policemen are not in uniform.
Nobody have ID cards. If they are true policemen, if you accost them for any reason, some of them, because of robbery, snapping and all of those, wear this whole thing with a black kit and what. But ask them for ID card. If they're true policemen, we are not saying that there are no situations where people, camouflage as police, soldiers, and whatever.
And you're sure that Nigerians really have the audacity to ask the policeman to say, "Show me your ID card"?
Oh, please, you'll be surprised if you do. The policeman will be in trouble. I will answer you. You see, this thing is all about educating our people on their right. There's this whole intimidation and a situation, bad education that has made our people look like stupid people. They are not. The same people come to America, they come to England, and they succeed because the laws are there. Demand for your right. Now, so Olu, it's a pity. I'm happy you fought those guys to stand still, and you ended up giving them something to eat. 500 naira. I mean, I must thank you very much for standing your ground. My position is that if we don't do that, we'll have problems. Everywhere I find myself, you cannot tell me, I want to buy goat, I want to buy land, and say, come and give me development fees. I fought my right to make sure that nobody intimidates me, and I will never be intimidated in this world. Having said so, you talked about the issue of the petroleum, petrol situation where, again, while it is true that businessmen capitalizes on how to make better profit, in our own case, you will notice that in the last 20 days, the oil industry is no longer in the saddle. It's no longer in the news, fuel scarcity and all of those. I believe that give Buhari a chance, who is the Minister for Petroleum, the man that works with him very closely. His man is Ibe Kachuku, who is a former Texaco director, a former man who rose to become the vice president of Mobil Exxon worldwide, will clean the situation. That same fellow, from what I read about his CV, at 25, was a PhD holder in law. I mean, the man understands the implication. He has name. His father gave him name. He has name to maintain. I don't see how Ibe, with greatest respect, will play to the gallery. No matter what is... No, I mean, what else is he looking for at his age? So to that extent, they are in that journey to make Nigeria right. The man who is the vice president is an SAN in law. I don't think this team will fail us. Never mind the fact that they don't belong to my party today. Never mind the fact that they are not. But I believe that the team, as it constitutes them,
right now,
will work at something for Nigeria.
Right, let me probably take our last caller from Kent or caller in Kent. Hi, your name or where you calling from now then? Hello? Okay, hold on while we're trying to get him from Kent. You mentioned now the credential of the cabinet or the way the cabinet comprises, that they have able people that can definitely deliver Nigeria.
Even, look, put it this way, even if Mr. A or Mr. B, I just mentioned a few names, don't make it look funny. I mentioned the vice president, who I can attest to. I mentioned the minister for petroleum, who I can. I mentioned the governor of Lagos State, Fashola, who there are
formers, okay. At least in the cabinet.
In the cabinet.
Yes.
Now, what I'm saying to you is this: even if you have a bad character
in the team,
that bad character is going to die a natural death, because the end product, which is Buhari, he will not agree. So even if you were a criminal-minded person, you are a thief, you are a dangerous, how are you going to sail through? You have to convince this man who you cannot give bribe. You see where I'm coming from? Who you cannot give bribe. You can't carry food to him. You can't say you want to buy him gold. You can't say you want to buy him land. You can't say you want to give him estate. He will not agree. So to that extent, this man here would have no option other than to get it right, other than to bring something that will improve the face of Nigeria. What I'm saying is that I'm a father of 8 children today. I hope to have more children anyway, because children are blessings. Having said so, it is not possible for you to come through my system and say you are corrupt, or it's not possible. I'm not rooted that way. My father will kill me in heaven. So the fact remains that once the head is ready and the head is clean, nothing will make that ship to destroy. So I'm not saying that people will not have intentions or whatever among these members of the cabinet. I haven't mentioned a few that I can say attest to as a criminologist, as a lawyer. You cannot sail through with it because the president will not agree. Sooner or later, you will start seeing a crack, a fallout for those ones who have criminal minds, who still want to push it through. The man will discover them and they will be out of the cabinet.
As we round up, you know the cabinet, you heard how much money has been technically recovered or available from those that have been recovered by Nigeria. Can the Nigerian government on their own merit just put their hand into that money, or do they need a law to be passed in the National Assembly for them to touch the money recovered?
No, you're not correct. These are stolen money belonging to the federal government.
So the government can utilize
the government will use it constructively for developmental purposes.
Right.
What we are now saying is that we must extend, and I've been asking the governor to do this, we must extend that to all the states and to the local government. That way, people will see reason to inject the capital of funds that are accruable to them to the benefit of the masses. The reason why we are having all this agitation is because the masses are hungry. Once we treat the issue of the masses by making sure their money goes to them and it is being used for development, then you would have held a situation. First, what Buhari has done the whole 1 year was looking at situation, the thieves that are there, the criminals, people who want to blow electricity, people don't want to pay. They are trying to hold the government to ransom. You've got an electricity company, for instance, and you got money, which is a criminal offense. So you took government asset, you say you wanted to fix it, and government then gave you federal government money. In addition, these people must be brought to book. So what I'm saying to you is that stop the drift. I know for a fact a situation before the last government left office. Some monies that were to be collected, the people couldn't come to collect the money just because of the fear of the existence of Buhari. It's not the man you can negotiate with. So what I'm saying to you is that there is a halt in the drift and theft of what is happening in the country. Unfortunately, the resources of the country today is dwindling because of our situation. It will improve. It's a matter of time. They will bring these people to book. I condemn in its totality all that crime of busting pipe as a way of claiming that they are agitators. They are not agitators. Their mothers and fathers are the ones suffering. These people are high-level criminals who have got access to money, and they are using that money to hold the country to ransom. And there are people saddled with the responsibility to make sure that they don't do that. I believe they will do their job. If they don't do their job, Nigerians will call for their head. They must bring these people to book, because not to do so is that we will not come back to a situation where everybody comes up with one group or the other and say we agitate. We are now Mozambique fighters of Urogo. Then we say, oh, Ijaw people will come back with another fight, Shekiri people will come. Because the only way you'll be heard is by not legitimately looking for what you need to get, but going to call gun and blow things up. If they stop blowing all the pipe and all the pipe is finished, then we start blowing vehicles on the road, then we start kidnapping people. Then no country thrives in blackmail. No country thrives in doing things in a negative form. And I'm saying I stand against it, and we must correct this within the shortest possible time.
Thank you very much. As a business person, what advice you had some of the callers trying to get you to support their agitation in a right way? What advice would you have the potential entrepreneurs in Nigeria, and those, of course, in the diaspora who are planning to go, even though they're hearing the other comment from the other views?
I don't agree that those are negative. I mean, every country in the world had passed through some level of negativity and what have you. I insist and I plead with them. You see, if I speak alone against crime, if I speak alone against the bad things in Nigeria, it's just one voice. But if good people like Olu and others come to the country and we all join our hands and say, this is not right, we form a vanguard, this is not good, it will continuously improve. Don't forget that given the number of years we have lived in this world as compared to some other country, we just need to do a bit of more work to fight it there. I mean, we have the last republic where thieves of, scores of people were removed from offices and all of those, some ministers are tried. My crux is that the EFCC should stop talking. They should immediately start prosecuting. There should be a special courts for, this whole idea of criminals going around in society for years after being bailed, and then at the end of the day the thing dies, must not be the same in the Buhari's government. This cosmetic legal justice. We must bring these people to book. Once we bring them to book the way we are going, speedily. I mean, the Buhari government have jailed a few, top-notchers of the last. Once we bring them to book, if Kenneth is a criminal, please bring me to book. I mean, it was ungodly for me to be afraid to be a criminal because I believe that there's punishment and all of this. And some people just brave it. And, I hear some governors say, you know what, if I have stolen 200 billion, I just keep 4 billion aside, to bribe EFCC and bribe ICPC and bribe the police, and it will be over. So we need to crack that barrier and make sure that we bring a lot of them back to book, put them in prison. It's not only going to prison outside Nigeria that matters. We in Nigeria must be able to correct ourselves, bring our criminals and people who have records of, on funds that you're going to, we'll bring them to book, and then that will be a winning situation for Nigeria.
Wow. We are indeed, as Nigerians and Nigerians in the diaspora, looking for that winning situation for the federal government, for Nigerians, and the nation at large. By all indication, thank you very much for honoring our invitation and sharing your experience, skills with our viewers and the diasporan community. Guys, this is where we bring this program to an end. And tomorrow you'll have your BBS show 10 to 12, live again in and on Ben Television, www.bentelevision.com, and Sky Channel 182. And of course, those on Star Time in Nigeria. Indeed, you have watched the first ethnic TV station in Europe. Stay blessed. Have a good day. Bye for now.